circumstances nationally right now. This is a national issue. With the layoffs, with the companies
Absolutely.
closing down, the increase in the technology revolution that's going on. There's a technology revolution, and these companies are realizing they don't have to maintain these buildings to keep their employees. People are working from home.
Right.
And then you have the new poor. This is something I'm developing some information around. Who are the new poor? The new poor are people who are many times educated, qualified to work in organizations, but there's nowhere for them. There's no placement for them. And they enter into an arena. Let's say they had a six-figure income job and that company closes down. They get a severance package, but that doesn't take them the rest of their lives. And they have children,
Correct.
you know, let's say they're in their 30s and up. And
So many choices, so many decisions, and so little time. Do you wrestle to understand the equations of life? Start a business or start a job? Should you get in a relationship or do you end one you're in? Is there more you should be doing with your life? What's your purpose and calling in life? Decisions. Are you at a point in your life where you need answers? There's definitely hope. Join the Unplugged experience, get connected with noted life coach, spiritual teacher, and catalyst for change, Dr. Diane Clark, for her show called Unplugged.
hi, and thank you so much for joining Unplugged. I'm excited about the show this week. I have with me Councilman Gaffney and Dr. Erica Goodman, which I will give you more information about them in a moment. But I want to invite you to go to my social media platforms and like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, YouTube, because there are messages out there, programs previous, that will be a blessing to you and your family. Unplugged deals with the mental health space in helping you be aware and of your mental attitude, your aptitude to bring you to a healthy and emotional mindset so that your life can take on a real victory, a real success that you would like to have. So thank you so much for those of you who tune in every week. I pray God's blessings on you. Today we have with us, let me tell you something exciting. On April 22nd, you can actually meet me in person. I'm going to be in Houston, Texas. For those of you who are watching from the Houston area, I'll be there the 22nd through the 24th. If you go to Eventbrite, the Cry of the Sons is a prayer conference, and I invite you to go to Eventbrite, and then I'll have information about it that will scroll on the show. Meet me in Houston. I'd love to meet some of you who watch the program. Thank you so much. My son will be hosting it, Prophet Harris, and you're going to be blessed with the guest that's going to be there for the prayer conference. See you soon. Let me introduce one of our special guests. The city of Jacksonville knows him well. He's also known outside of the city, outside of the county. Just briefly, an introduction that Councilman Gaffney is widely known for developing, implementing, and advocating for people with mental illness and substance use dependency who have nowhere else to turn. Through his nonprofit Community Rehabilitation Center, Incorporated, also known as Community CRC, since 1993, has continued to offer substance and behavioral health counseling services. This work includes services for people with HIV. He also assisted minority communities by engaging with City Hall and the state legislature to secure services and funding. In 2013, Councilman Gaffney was appointed to serve on the Transition Subcommittee on Community Services and the Jacksport Board of Directors, when he also served as chair. Help me welcome Councilman Gaffney to the show. Thank you so much for being with us and bringing with you Dr. Erica Goodman, who works to assist you in facilitating the services of the program.
And thank you for giving us the opportunity to come in and just share our moment
and talk about some of the great things that God have allowed us to do. I've been on the front line when it comes to social services and mental health services for what you say 1993, and before then I worked at Shands Universal Hospital, and so I social services is just something I love to do. I'm always reminded in the book of Matthew, I'm not sure what verse, 25th, I think 25th verse somewhere, when God said, "What you do for the least of them, you've done it to me." Mm-hmm. And so I try to tell my staff all the time, is make sure we treat others like you want somebody to treat you, because you never know that 1 second when something alters your brain that it may be you. And so in saying that, I've been involved in politics all my life. I'm going on my 7th year as an elected city councilman in Jacksonville. Getting ready to run for state senator. And you ask me why I talk about the politics, because if you're at the table, you can change people's life. Right. You become a blessing to those who cannot bless themselves, and that's what we believe in doing at CRC. And the young lady I brought with me today is Dr. Goodman, who I love to death. She's been with the agency almost over 10 years. So when I'm out there playing politics, you know, a good leader is not that good, but if you got great staff, you become great. Right. And so I'm mindful to know that as long as I keep Ms. Goodman and others around me, I can continue to be the glue to continue to make sure resources come while they can continue to do what we believe God has us do, and that's to take care of our community. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to let her speak a little bit, but thank you again, Dr. Clark, for just allowing us to come and talk about mental health. Yes. Because mental health is so important. Yes. And I want the community to know, and those who may be listening, don't be embarrassed. Right. It can happen too. Mm-hmm. And my program alone over the last 30 years, I have seen doctors, I have seen lawyers, I have seen garbage men, I have seen teachers. Anybody can have that moment where they become mentally ill. So don't be embarrassed about it, just seek help. Right. And so Dr. Goodman, who's not only been a blessing to the not-for-profit, she, in her brilliant mind, about 2 years ago, wrote a healthcare grant, and I'm going to let her tell you about all what she's doing for the agency and where we believe that God has us going for in the future. So, Dr. Goodman, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Clark and Mr. Gaffney. Thank you for that introduction. So, with what you were stating about Community Rehabilitation Center, we provide mental health and substance use services as well as targeted case management, and now we provide primary care. So we're all about providing total care for the total man. So our mothership, which is located at 623 Beechwood, we provide most of our mental health services at that location. We have a location also on Pearl Street, which is where most of our grant staff resides, but then he has a third facility that's also located at 5960 Beach Boulevard. That is where we provide our primary health care services. And so we have doctors, we have nurses, we have nurse practitioners, case managers, medical assistants, CNAs, case managers, primary counselors, whole kit and caboodle. So when you're talking about the importance of mental health, and Mr. Gaffney was talking about the importance of not being embarrassed, right. The big stigma associated with mental health prevents individuals who need the care from receiving the care because they're so concerned about the stigma. But at Community Rehabilitation Center, under his capable leadership, we provide all of the care that is needed so that we can make sure that we meet the needs of those individuals who are suffering from mental health issues. That can go from depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, personality disorders, whatever. We provide those services at all of our locations to try to meet the need of the total individual. Mr. Gaffney specifically talked about our health care. At Crossroads Health and Wellness Center, which is under CRC and Mr. Gaffney leadership, as I was stating, we provide integrated services, so it's primary health care as well as mental health services. Mm-hmm. So at one location, you can see a doctor, a nurse practitioner, you can see a counselor, a case manager, to where you don't have to go to a different facility. All of those services are at one location.
That is awesome. This is a comprehensive program that's locally ran in Jacksonville, Florida. And if you're here and you have relatives, you children, family that need the services, you want to contact CRC. I believe they have on site, they actually house patients. And then in the health care, the services that's provided there, do you need to schedule it? And if you do, how can they schedule it or give them a
Okay.
website?
That's a very good question.
Before Erica
Yes, sir.
respond, let me make a small correction, Dr. Clark. We don't house them overnight.
Residential.
Everything we do is outpatient.
Oh, okay.
We'll pick them up, we provide transportation, we'll pick them up, bring them to the program, we'll take them home. We are blessed to have 7 homes when individuals become homeless, and we have calls every day from judges and everybody say, come and pick up. I got a lawyer keep calling me from downtown every day, got this homeless guy, and I've been trying to convince him to give up that life, and we'll place a person in a home until we can get them to see have a psychologist or doctor, whatever they may need, and then we'll try to place them in about 10 ALF assisted living facilities that we work with every day. But I'm so sorry, I had to
Oh, no,
say
you're
that
perfectly
right.
fine, and I was
Yeah, I
about
don't want to
say-
give misinformation. I was
Yeah.
under the impression that you had a facility where they could actually live, but they come daily.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Outpatient.
to
So
the
we don't provide
facility.
residential services, we do provide outpatient services.
Okay.
And so at the different locations that we spoke of,
Yes,
those are all outpatient services.
okay.
So the CRC 623 Beechwood location, you can always call our main location, which is 358-1211, and they will set you up and ensure that you have a counselor or someone that will do your intake and make sure that you're set up. They'll ask you a series of questions so that we'll see what you qualify for and what level of care you would need.
Dr. Goodman, give them the number again, because
Yes,
you know
ma'am.
they're watching on TV.
Absolutely. So that number is the area code of 904-358-1211, and that is for our Beechwood location at 623 Beechwood. In the location for 5960, which is our Crossroads Health and Wellness Center, you can dial the number of 701-0229, and we will connect you with someone who will make sure that you're able to have your intake completed and any services that you need as it relates to mental health or primary health.
Thank you so much. It is just great to know that we have these resources available, because a lot of people walk around, they may not be mentally ill, but they're having issues that deals with the quality of their emotional health
Absolutely.
and their mental health. And to know that I can go somewhere, I'm not going to be committed, but I am going at least to do a health check, a wellness check for my mind. When we break a limb, we will go to an orthopedic doctor.
Yes, yes.
You know, when our stomach is not responding the way we would like for it to, we're going to go to a gastroenterologist. We're going to go say, okay, this is happening, doc, with my stomach. Can you fix it? But oftentimes we know things are happening with us mentally, but because of the stigma in the Black community,
Very, very, very important.
we will not go and say, you know, truth is, I'm depressed and I'm living a double life. When I get home, I'm in depression, full of anxiety, fear, and then I go out and I have this self that I've created
Yes.
that's
yes.
strong and ready for the public. And I know you've seen that in your program.
All the time. Let me make everybody rest for a minute. Our statistics tell us that every 4 people you meet, one probably done a spiritual mental illness at some point in their life. Think about that. Every 4. There's 3 of us. One
Right.
other person walking here at some point throughout our life. We've probably been depressed. Look, I'm an elected official, running for Senate, I run a not-for-profit, one of the biggest minority not-for-profit. I call Ms. Goodman all the time for counsel. It's
Okay.
embarrassing, but I understand that God made us where we can only take so much.
Right.
So I know how to reach out. And that's what we all got to at some point learn, that I'm at that point now where we always believe he'll give you no more you can bear, and that's probably true. But sometimes it can become overbearing, and that's where we come in. Individuals who done went to school, who understands how to help you get through that season you're in.
Right.
And trust me, season comes and go.
They do, and they impact us. A divorce, a separation,
Yes.
even a breakup.
Absolutely.
A breakup in a relationship.
Yes.
And you know, we like to think that we're able to walk away or deal with everything that we experience, but oftentimes what we do and what I have found in the community of the church and in life in general is that we find a place in ourselves to just hide it.
Right.
Yes.
And so many of us are walking around with stored up hurt, stored up disappointment. We have shrines that we've literally built to worship our pain and our disappointment. And we say we are all right because we can go to work. We say we are all right, but we're just functional mental holics.
Yes, very
That's
good.
it.
That's a new term.
Very well
Yes,
said.
yes,
And you made a
yes.
good point by saying that we put up a facade when we're out.
Yes.
Because we want everybody to feel as if they're okay, that we're okay, that there's nothing wrong with us, because we have stigmatized mental health. And as you
Yes.
stated, it can be depression, it can be anxiety, it can be stress. Those are all forms of a mental health, but that doesn't mean something is wrong with you.
Right.
And we don't want anybody to know that we're hurting or we're depressed or
Oh,
we're crying
no.
or, we've taken on more than we can bear because we want everybody to feel as if we're strong. And if
Yeah.
we're not strong or we're not presenting as we're strong, then we appear weak. But weakness should not be related to mental health because just as you stated before, if we take care of our physical health,
Right.
it's important for us to take care of our health altogether, and mental health is a part of health. So it's not just about our physical body, it's about our mental stability, our emotional stability.
Yes.
And we have to do what we need to do to make sure that we're whole.
Yes.
And so we have to seek help to do that. And when you don't feel as if you are stigmatized by coming out and saying, I need help, there's nothing wrong with saying that you need help.
Nothing.
How would you become whole? How can you receive that healing if you don't receive the help that you need? And so the stigma associated with that needs to cease. So it's important for people such as yourself to have shows that is an outlet so that you can educate the community to let them
Yes.
know that there's nothing wrong with seeking help. And who you seek help from is based off of who you think would be able to provide you those services without the stigma being labeled. Or it's really important to know that there's help out there, and Community Rehabilitation Center is more than happy to provide any of those services. We provide services at CRC from 18 above at our Beechwood location. And our Crossroads Health and Wellness Center is from birth on up for the primary health side. And
Awesome.
for the mental health side, for behavioral health, is age 5 and up. So there's never a reason for you not to reach out. And as you were saying, from a spiritual standpoint, because I am a believer, I understand the stigma that's associated from
Yes.
the Christian, the believer side, because you should only have to pray and that becomes the healing that you need.
Right.
But that's not saying that you go to the doctor when you need help.
Right.
So the mental part, as in emotional stability and mental stability, is just as important as your physical stability and your physical health.
Very important. I can remember, I can say periods, not a period. Periods in my life where I was not emotionally healthy
Right.
and I was not mentally healthy. And my education taught me, you need to go talk to somebody.
Right.
Because this is not acceptable behavior. You're overwhelmed, you're always tired. And I actually went through a season where I cried without crying, if that makes sense.
It does.
I'm just sitting and tears are lapping under my chin, but I'm not actively having the emotion
Associated
that I'm crying, and you go, and let me tell you, in the audience, we fear a lot of times of sharing ourselves and our personal feelings with a person that we don't know. But I encourage you, if you're going to get counseling and you realize you really have an issue, you do want to go to someone that you don't know, because they're going to help you become objective. They're going to help you walk through your process, your pain, and help you, give you the tools really to equip you to bring and restore the health and the vitality that's missing because you're not mentally and emotionally healthy. Councilman Gaffney, I wanted to ask you, I know your services at CRC is adult-oriented, and now you have the health portion that deals with, I think you said birth.
Yes.
Up through adult. What do you foresee coming in our community, in the greater Jacksonville community, because of the effects of COVID now? Have you seen an increase of people coming to your program? And do you have any plans on the table for our young people? Because they're young people, 14, 15, 16. I just did a show about trying to commit suicide.
Yes.
As young as 6 years old, wanting to die.
We, and thanks for that question. A couple weeks ago, I did a summit at Ocean Way Baptist Church off of Main Street. I had school board chairperson Darrell Willis there. I had a couple individuals from the sheriff's office there.
Okay.
I had other individuals in dealing with crime, and that's the expertise. Two individuals on the panel. Son actually got shot and killed over the last 5 years.
Okay.
The purpose of that, because we see a spike in crime, not just in Jacksonville, it's in America now. You read it, you hear it every day. But what we're trying to do local, we're trying to get out front. Crime is not easy. One of the things that I said, and I say it again, that you cannot do two things. You can't arrest yourself out of crime. You can't put everybody in jail.
Right.
And then two, I don't care how much money you have, and money is an issue. Because when you got parents and families in poverty, it's starving, we got to figure out ways to address that, and that's what I'm doing now. But I think that the number one thing that I say, it starts home first, parents. Now, we're going to say that my husband probably in jail, or probably in prison, or probably dead, or my mother's not there, and you got kids raising kids. But regardless, it starts at home, and it's also started in the community. And I think another thing that I would like to see that change, we got to remove that stigma that I see something, say nothing. Because if you don't say nothing today, that same individual that just did some damage today and caused pain with another family going to cause pain, at some point it may be your family.
Right.
So as a community, we got to assess ourselves. I know as leaders, funding is always need to be more funding. And that's one of the things that I always work on. I always give many grants out. I'm always talking to my colleagues about more funding, but it starts in our community at home. I said this, and I shut up. I said last week, 2 weeks ago, I say pastors should share some of the blame. City leaders, state leaders should share some of the blame. Police should share some of the blame. Family members should share some of the blame, as well as school teachers. Why I say everybody? Because it's all of us.
Right.
We're all in it together.
Right.
And so when we learn to work together, when we look in that mirror and say, I want to make a difference, I want to make a change for whatever you do, and then you're going to see America going in a totally different direction, but the city of Jacksonville will begin to start healing itself because resources should become more plentiful, but we're all going to be working together to achieve one major goal, and that's to save one child, because when one child gets shot, that's one too many.
Right. I agree. And you know, the circumstances nationally right now, this is a national issue, with the layoffs, with the companies closing down, the increase in the technology revolution that's going on. There's a technology revolution, and these companies are realizing they don't have to maintain these buildings to keep their employees. People are working from home.
Right.
And then you have the new poor. This is something I'm developing some information around. Who are the new poor? The new poor are people who are many times educated, qualified to work in organizations, but there's nowhere for them. There's no placement for them. And they enter into an arena. Let's say they had a six-figure income job and that company closes down. They get a severance package, but that doesn't take them the rest of their lives, and they have children,
Correct.
you know, let's say they're in their 30s and up. And there's their retirement, there are other things to prepare for having children, because childcare, after-school care, all of those things are expensive. So how do we address the new poor?
Well, you know, again, you saw last year you had so many people quitting, not just getting fired, but quitting their job. I think what COVID and this pandemic did to the world, to America, it made all of us to do two things: to stay home for a couple of years, just to reflect on our life and probably redirect on some of our major values or goals and some of the things we wanted to do. Some of us came to the conclusion that the job we had, even though it paid a lot of money, wasn't worth the stress and the time we was putting in. And all that can go back to mental health. Because we
Exactly.
gotten so depressed over the last couple of years, we gave up on what our basic value was, and that's to work and take care of ourselves. But you also see a shift in the economy. You see a lot of restaurants and other businesses closed down because if somehow we're not supporting those businesses and they close down. So I would say as a leader, Jacksonville, as well as America, we have a lot of work to do. There's no magic one answer. My answer is not always the correct answer. Other people much smarter than me, but I'm smart enough to listen to those who may have a little more data
Yes.
and understanding on what they think is best. But as leaders right now, as we understand what's happening in the city of Jacksonville, and we understand that why people is walking off their job, why businesses is closing down, why all is killing, we talk about this every day. As we talk about having a plan to achieve some of these goals and change the cycle of what's going on, I would say it's revolving, and all we can do is continue to have conversations like this to educate folks.
That is so very important, because we're going to see an escalation now
Absolutely.
of people who are not technology savvy. And the thing that I don't understand, they're saying America doesn't want to work. Why? Why do you not want to be a waitress anymore? McDonald's was offering a hiring
$15.
Okay.
Actually, McDonald's made us adjust our figures. We couldn't find workers, and we're in the mental health field. But you know, in all seriousness, though, it's jobs. I would tell anybody, if you're looking for a job, you call my office. It's jobs in the city of Jacksonville right now. People is really asking for people. They call me every day. Councilman Gaffney, you got somebody who can do this. It may be not the desired job that you want today, but I'm mindful, and I tell my staff this all the time. You never know what God has for you.
Absolutely.
Right.
You might start as the janitor, but we have seen and heard stories that 30 years from now you become owner.
Okay.
We don't know what God has for you, so don't worry about where you start at. It's about where you end at.
Right.
And that's trusting Him and not yourself.
You have to have a destination, or you're already where you're going.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Dr. Goodman, I want you to let our audience know, Councilman Gaffney said call his office. Where do they need to call? What number?
They will call the same number, and that number is 904-358-1211, and they can ask to speak to Linda Rowe. Miss Linda Rowe is his assistant. She will be apprised of what is being discussed regarding the availability of employment, and she will make sure that he gets that information.
Or they can call 630-CITY, and they will connect my office.
Right.
And I have another system down there will gather their information if they're looking for a job, and we'll call you back. That's one of the things I can promise you we'll do. We'll call you back, and we'll go to work for you.
We're right now hiring for a registered nurse. We're hiring for a medical assistant. We're hiring for a CNA, and we're hiring for a case manager. So there are positions that are available. I even utilize my social media to put out there to let them know about the availability of those positions within the Crossroad Health and Wellness Facility. And again, that number is 904-701-5555. 0229. And you can let them know that Dr. Goodman referred you to call regarding the available position.
Thank you so much for being my guest on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
This
yes.
show is about being unplugged.
Unplugged.
You
yes,
have to
appropriate.
unplug to get replugged
Yes.
into a new level of your life.
Oh,
Councilman
yes.
Gaffney, we so
Yes.
appreciate your service to the city, and we're looking forward to you moving to the Senate. Thank you, Dr. Goodman,
Yes, ma'am.
for your service and support. You really are an amazing woman.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
God has
that.
gifted and equipped you in so many ways to be a blessing in our community. And I encourage you to contact the numbers that they've given you if you're in need of a job, or you have family members that need their services, or if you yourself will be courageous and say, you know what, I need to go see about me because I'm putting the iron in the refrigerator and I'm starting in a sentence and I can't finish it. And you know, even especially I want to encourage ladies, if you're experiencing change of life, that often affects your mental health as well. And definitely it interrupts your emotional health. So I encourage you to take advantage of the city resources. I encourage you to support city meetings. Make yourself available to be aware of what's going on in our community. Anybody can complain. Anybody can talk about what's not happening. But it takes somebody who is aware to come to the table and say, well, we can do this, or can we do that? This is happening. What's the remedy? And get with other people who are working toward restoring Jacksonville, restoring a quality of life mentally and emotionally to our citizens, to our people. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, I'm going to be in Houston, Texas, April 22nd through the 24th with When Sons Cry. It's a prayer conference. I invite you to be there. Go on Eventbrite, type in the search, and you'll get more information about that if you're in the Houston area. I look forward to meeting you in person. I am Dr. Diane Clark, and I am empowering the harvest.
Dr. Diane Clark will be hosting the Celebration of Women Unplugged Live. This is a simulcast of her television broadcast addressing self-care, body, soul, and spirit. VIP tickets are available for only $25 on Eventbrite. The date of this event is May 21st at 1 p.m. Dinner will be served. Various national speakers are present. Vendor opportunities are available. The venue will be at the Inspired Network Studio, 6651 Crestline Drive, Jacksonville, Florida.
Hi, this is Dr. Diane Clark, and I have some exciting news for you. This year, we're going to have Celebration of Women. This is an annual event that we do to highlight women in our community, to make you feel special and showered with affection. We have a thankless job, so when someone wants to honor us and celebrate us, it's an opportunity for us to become invigorated and motivated. This event is going to be held May 21st. That's May 21st. Put it on your calendar. It's going to be held right here at the Inspired Network Studios, 6651 Crestline Drive in the Arlington area. I want you to get set now to be a VIP experience, to have a VIP experience. That includes a delicious lunch, free gifts, free opportunities. And we want to shower you to let you know that you are valuable to the earth and to the people that you interact with. Along with that, we're going to have the Unplugged simulcast live, and you'll be a part of that studio audience. So if you want that VIP experience, go to Eventbrite and register for that. And if you just want to be a part of the studio audience, you're welcome to come. And we thank you and bless you for making that a special event. Our focus this year is self-care, body, soul, and spirit. And we have some wonderful guests who are going to participate in that. That's going to cause you to feel inspired, bring out the wonderful you that you are. Listen, write it down on your calendar, May 21st, with Dr. Diane Clark, Celebration of Women Unplugged. It's going to be great.
Put a seed in the ground and name your seed. Experience the blessings of the Lord by sowing into this outreach. Help us take the gospel around the world. You can do so by going to Cash App. Type in the dollar amount you would like to give, and then type in $D Clark Ministries in the For section. Make sure you include your telephone number and a small prayer request. I can assure you that our prayer counselors will be praying for your needs. If this encounter has been a blessing to you, send us an email at dclarkministries@gmail.com and let us know how we've been a blessing to you. Or write us a letter or drop us a seed at Dr. Diane Clark, P.O. Box 9148, Jacksonville, Florida, 32208. Or call 904-419-9831. Stay connected with Dr. Clark and the Unplugged Ministry. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like our Facebook page and Instagram family. This way, when we go live, you'll get an alert the doctor is live. To find out more about Dr. Clark, go to my website today. And while you're there, become a partner. Go to DianeUnplugged.com. So you've been watching the show. Would you like to be a content provider yourself and develop a show for the Inspire Network? Please give us a call today at 904-389-5592 or go to www.connecttv.com.